Also, it's supported by evidence and facts. So again, research is very important, and academic writing is not about your own opinion or your own thoughts. It's about the kind of research you do. And lastly, it's very accurate and consistent and precise. So creative writing, for example, there are not many rules. You can write about anything in any way, but academic writing is very accurate. So you have to have correct research, very consistent. So the style needs to be the same, and very precise. So your language needs to be formal and it needs to be very short and simple. So academic writing is not personal and subjective. So again, not about your opinion. It's not wordy and conversational. So the writing style is more formal, not informal. And it is not overly descriptive. So we don't spend too much time writing every detail about your argument. We name one or two details and move to the next part. Okay, all right. Let's go, oops. So here is an example of academic writing, an essay. So an essay is a short piece of writing, maybe 5 pages, maybe 3 pages, maybe 1 page, about a particular subject, for example, World War II. And the goal is to argue a perspective or to provide information. And in an essay, we have 3 parts, the introduction. So with the introduction, you will introduce your topic and some background. Next, you have the body. The body is the main part. You have 3 or 4 paragraphs talking about your topic, giving research, examples, and lastly, the conclusion. So the conclusion is a summary, and you will discuss what you wrote. So far, any questions about an essay? No? Okay. The next one, a research paper. So a research paper is similar to an essay, but it is much longer. So it is a long, detailed study with lots of analysis and interpretation. So in a research paper, you will go into more detail. You will dig deeper for information and for research. The goal of a research paper is to offer a unique point of view, your point of view, based on your sources, for example, online articles, other studies, and what other people say. So for a research paper, you will have to do a lot of research. You will have to read what other people have written, and you will have to be on the internet for a long time looking for facts, for dates, for information. Also, in a research paper, we have a thesis statement. So we will practice making thesis statements today. A thesis statement is one sentence that is the main argument of your paper. We also have sections. So for a research paper, because it's very long, it's important to be very organized. And you need to have distinct sections in your paper so you can talk about different kinds of things about your general topic. And lastly, we have topic sentences. So at the start of every section, you need one topic sentence. A topic sentence is a sentence that will prepare the rest of the paragraph. Okay, and again, we will get into topic sentences more later. Any questions about a research paper? No, it's okay. Okay, so a research paper you will probably do in college later on. All right, so let's talk about academic writing and how you can improve your academic writing. So the first thing is your voice, So we have an active voice. So an active voice, the subject acts on the verb. So an example, the monkey ate bananas all day. So this kind of voice is very strong and very clear. And the focus is on the monkey eating. On the monkey eating. That is the focus. That is the action. But we also have a passive voice. A passive voice, the subject receives the verb. So same sentence, but a different order, a different voice. The bananas were eaten by the monkey all day. So here, the focus is the bananas. The focus is the bananas. They were eaten. So this is a softer tone. It's not direct. It's a little softer than the active voice. Usually in your writing, especially academic writing, you want to use the active voice. That should be the voice you use because it is stronger and it shows you have confidence when you are arguing a point. So I suggest we try to use the active voice, okay? So focus on the subject and what the subject is doing. The monkey ate bananas all day. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next part. So we also want to talk about language. Language is very important because we are reading a paper and you need to have some kind of formal style when you write academically. So first, you want to avoid casual speech. So imagine you are having a conversation with your friends, you are chatting with your parents, outside, at home. It's very casual. So we don't want to write like this. This is good for speaking, but for writing, we want to be a little more formal. So an example, he was kind of a cool dude. He had good vibes. What do you think? Does this sound like a good sentence?
I do not think.
No, why not?
Because it sounds sort of boring.
Boring, yeah, it's very informal, very informal. So a better sentence, he was quite a likable person and I enjoyed being around him. So it's the same meaning, but it's said in a different style and it's said more appropriately for academic writing. Okay, so remember, when you are writing, don't always write how you would speak. Try to write like you would write. So that is more formal, more official. Okay, so the next one, you want to use a wide range of vocabulary, but not too wide. You don't want to use too many big words, but try to use some words that you might not use when you are speaking. So the first sentence, the mountain range was beautiful and made me feel special. What do you think about this sentence? Is it a good sentence? Is it correct? Yes, actually, this is a good sentence. It's correct. There are no mistakes here, but it's very basic. It's very basic. So when we write academically, we can try to use a bit more vocabulary. Okay, this will make the paper a little more colorful, a little more engaging, a little more interesting for our reader. So an example, the mountain range was stunning or was gorgeous and filled me with emotion. So again, it's the same meaning here, but we use different words and the effect is different. The second sentence sounds nicer. I think it sounds a little more interesting too. So to review, the main things we want to do, try not to use casual speech and try to use a wide range of vocabulary. Try to use your dictionary, your thesaurus, to look up some interesting words that you can include that are a little more interesting a little more engaging than the basic words, Okay? So do you have any questions here about this slide? It's okay. You guys can understand this? Yes? Okay. Well, good. Okay, so we're going to practice this, okay? So we're going to test your knowledge. So let's look at the example here. So first, we're going to talk about voice and language. We're going to change these sentences. We want to improve them, okay? There is something about them that we can make better. So let's look at the first one. Let's see, Charlie, can you read the first sentence here?
Global warming and climate change are pretty much the same thing.
Thank you. So what do we think about the sentence? Is it good?
I do not think they are the same thing. Global warming is a kind of climate change.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Global warming is a kind of climate change. Yeah, perfect. Anything else about the sentence that you think we should not use?
You should add a period.
Sorry, one more time.
You should add a period.
Oh, period. Yes, thank you. So that's a good point, Charlie. Thank you. The second thing I should note, pretty much is a very casual phrase. So it's okay when we speak, but when we write, let's try not to use this phrase, okay? Pretty much the same thing. It sounds too casual for a paper, for an essay. So we want to use a different word. So an example, you can say global warming and climate change are, what's a word we can use for pretty much? Any ideas?
Or wait, I'm gonna delete the pretty much.
Yeah, you can say are, but we want to say they're almost. We can say almost the same thing. We can also say essentially. So essentially is a more formal word. So this means almost or basically. So pretty much the same thing, basically the same thing, essentially the same thing. That sounds better. Okay, but thank you, Charlie. That was a good point. Let's move to the next one. Let's see. Jeffrey, can you read number 2, please?
Grass was made hot by the sun, which was scorching.
Yeah, what do you think about this one? Good or no?
Not good.
No, why not?
Because which was scorching is in the wrong place.
Okay, how do we correct this sentence?
The grass, which was scorching, was made hot by the sun.
Okay, the grass, which was scorching, was made hot. Any other suggestions? So let's look at this phrase, was made hot. Is this the active voice or is this passive?
Passive.
Passive, yeah. So how do we make this active? What can we say instead? Was made hot. So we can say the sun, which was scorching, made the grass hot. Yeah, so this is a better sentence. It's more active. It's a stronger, clearer voice. The sun, which was scorching, made the grass hot. This sounds much better. Okay, thank you, Jeffrey. Let's go to number 3. Christy, can you read number 3, please?
I was driven to soccer practice by my Uncle Joe.
Yeah, so what do you think about this one? Is it a good sentence? Should we change anything?
I think you have to change something.
Yeah? What should we change? So let's look at this part. I was driven. So is this the active or passive voice?
Passive.
Yeah, good. So how do we make this active? I was driven, or you can say, my Uncle Joe drove me to soccer practice. So now the focus is my Uncle Joe drove me. So that is the active voice. That is focusing on the action. Okay, thank you, Chrissy. Let's go to the next one. Dylan, can you read the next one, please? Number 4.
Basically, my sister and me have the same hairdo, but mine's cooler.
Yeah, what do you think about this sentence?
Too casual.
One more time, Dylan?
It's too casual.
Too casual, exactly. So how do we make it more appropriate for academic writing?
Change hairdo and cooler.
Yeah. So what can we say? My sister,
Haircut.
yeah, my sister
Better.
and I have the same haircut, but mine is
Better.
better. Yeah, that's fine. Mine is better. You could say mine is more stylish also. And remember this word, basically, what is a better word we can use for writing? Do you remember this word? Essentially. Essentially. So essentially means basically, but it's more appropriate for writing. All right, good job, Dylan. Thank you. All right, let's go to number 5. The cooking is being done by my mom, who's a crazy good chef. What do we think about this one? Evan, can you tell me about this one?
The cooking is being done by my mom, who's a crazy good chef.
What do you think about this sentence? Is it good? Can we improve it?
I think it's good.
You think it's good? Okay, well, let's look at the first part. The cooking is being done by my mom. Is this the active voice or the passive voice?
It's active voice.
No, actually, this is passive. So being done by my mom. So we can make this active. We can say my mom.
He's cooking.
Yeah, my mom is cooking. Yes.
My mom, who is a crazy good chef, is cooking.
Yeah, perfect. My mom, who is a crazy, but yeah, that's good. But crazy good is very informal. So what else can we say?
An excellent chef.
Perfect is an excellent chef. Wonderful. That's much better. Who is an excellent chef is cooking. Yep, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Evan. All right, let's do number 6. Who hasn't gone yet? Let's see. Andrew, can you go, please? Can you read number 6?
A letter is received by us every Christmas, but it's always the same.
Thank you. What do you think about this sentence? Is it good? Can we change it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What should we do?
I think.
What should we do for this sentence? Oh, this part, a letter is received by us. Is this active or passive?
Active?
I think it's passive. So let's change it to active. We receive a letter every Christmas, but it's always the same. Yeah, we receive. So remember, we want to focus on the action. We receive, a letter is received by. That's passive. We receive a letter is active. All right, thank you, Andrew. And one more who didn't go. I think everyone. Okay, I think everyone went. So now Charlie went. Jeffrey went. Okay, well, let's move on to the next part. Okay. So let's talk about some other things to improve your writing. So punctuation. Punctuation is very important because punctuation is a rule about how to write. Maybe if you are doing creative writing, punctuation is not so important, but in academic writing, it's very important because it can help establish your tone and the rules behind your language choices. So let's look at the first one, a colon. So 2 dots here. A colon is used to draw attention to something. So for example, there was only one problem, colon, I had no money. So this phrase, I had no money, this is the important phrase. This is what we want to focus on. So here you should use a colon. We also have a semicolon. So 1 dot here and a comma beneath it. So this is to join similar thoughts. For example, Blake finished his homework ahead of time. Johnny is still working on his. So these 2 sentences are very, very similar. They're connected. They are a similar thought. So we can use a semicolon. But generally, semicolons are not used often, and some teachers don't like when you use semicolons. However, you will see them in academic writing and writing of any kind, so it's important to know. Again, they are to join similar thoughts, okay? The next one, a dash, a dash. So a dash is used for emphasis or to add information. So for example, my everyday chores, mopping and weeding the garden, to name 2, take about 1 hour. So we have a sentence, and in the middle of the sentence, we have some additional information. My everyday chores, mopping and weeding the garden, to name 2, take about 1 hour. So this can help make your writing a little more sophisticated, a little more complex. And lastly, we have the parentheses. So these are for non-essential information, information that is not very important, but if you want, you can include it. For example, the metro in London, aka the tube, is always packed day and night. So aka the tube, it's not necessary, but it's important to a little degree, so we can include it. So you can choose to use parentheses for information that you want to include if it's a little important. Any questions about punctuation here?
What? I was like,
Any questions about punctuation here? It's good?
it was like 510 minutes.
All right, then. Well, let's go to the next page. Okay, so we are going to talk about sentence structure. So first, you want to vary, so you want to change your sentence length and style. So when you are writing in an academic paper, you don't want to use the exact same sentence structure for the whole paper. It's very boring. It's not exciting to read. And it shows that maybe you are a very basic writer. We want to show that you are a very capable writer. So an example, this example is a very boring example. I will read it. The ice cream was delicious. It tasted sweet. I was happy because I love ice cream in summer. Ice cream is good in winter too, if you can eat it in a warm place at home. So this sentence is very choppy. It starts and stops and starts and stops. It's very boring to read. It has no music. So the second one here, this is a better example. The ice cream was incredibly delicious and sweet. Since I love eating ice cream in summer, I was really happy. Ice cream is fun to eat in winter too, but only if you can eat it in a warm place, such as at home. So as you can see in this example, there is more of a flow. It's a smoother sentence structure here. It sounds better. It's more fun to read. So when you write, try to change the sentence length and how you write it, the style. Also, secondly, don't be repetitive. So don't repeat too much. Example, my boss is not nice and so mean. He should really treat people nicer and kinder. So in this sentence, we are repeating the same meaning.
Kind is the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice and mean is also the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Not nice and mean, same thing. Treat people nicer and kinder, same thing. So we don't need those. So you can just write, my boss is quite mean. He should really treat people with more respect. So this sentence is smoother, it sounds better, and we are not repeating anything. Okay, so let's remember this. And again, let's go to some practice. Okay, so here, we're going to go to the next part. So we're going to practice punctuation and sentence structure, okay? So here we want to change these sentences, okay? All right, so let's read it and then let's talk about how we can change these sentences, okay? So Charlie, can you read the first one, please? Number 1.
Last year, I went to the spa with my family. It was fun. This year, we will go to the mountains to go skiing, which will be fun too. But I prefer staying home. It is more relaxing, and I do not have to worry about packing. I think you have.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. All right, so what do we all think about the sentence structure? Is it good? Should we change anything?
It was fun is a boring sentence.
Yeah, it was fun is boring. Good. What can we say?
Comma and which should be not capitalized.
Yeah. Good.
So
So you can say last year I went to the spa with my family. What can we say? It was fun. What's a better phrase?
Without a comma.
Without a comma?
I mean, and.
And it was fun, yeah. But it was fun is very plain, very basic. So what else can we say?
I liked it.
I liked it, yeah. Anything else?
Or like it was exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was really exciting. Good. This year we'll go to the mountains to go skiing, which will be fun too. Yeah, that's good. What about the last part? But I prefer staying home. It's more relaxing and I don't have to worry about packing. How can we make this part better? We can use this phrase, that being said. So this phrase is similar to however. However, that being said, I prefer staying home because it's more relaxing. And I don't have to worry about packing. Yeah, so that being said is similar to however or but. So it's a good phrase to remember. All right, thank you, Charlie. Let's go to the next person. Andrew, can you read number 2, please?
Recycling is important, which not many people know. If you don't recycle properly, you can kill animals both on land and in the ocean. The best way to recycle is to make sure you don't put plastic, cardboard, and glass in the trash.
Thank you. Good, Andrew. Thank you. So what about this sentence structure and the punctuation? Is it correct? Should we improve something? What about this first dash here? Is that used correctly?
No,
No?
No?
Why not? What can we use instead?
because
So I think we can just use a comma. A comma is fine. We don't need a dash, which not many people know. Okay, what about the next sentence? If you don't recycle properly, semicolon, you can kill
I'm thinking
animals.
about repeatance. Like I don't know, but oops, not that.
Mhm.
Like not that, but like both on land and in the ocean, we can just replace that with like it will kill animals. I mean animals.
Yeah, good. Also, you're right. We don't need the semicolon. So we can just say, if you don't recycle.
oh, I got rid of the semicolon.
Yeah, you don't need it. You can kill animals everywhere, for example. Yeah, that's good. You don't need the both on land and in the ocean. What about the last part? The best way to recycle is to make sure you don't put plastic. What about this colon? Is it used correctly?
No,
No? Why not?
because these two are not like the same meaning.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, so you can do this in a different way. You can say this is the best way to recycle.
And they use repeatance.
Well, plastic, cardboard, and glass in the trash. So remember, a colon is used to emphasize or to show an important point. So we can use it in this way. This is the best way to recycle, colon, and you can have a short list of important items. Okay, good, Andrew. Let's do one more. Christy, can you read number 3, please?
I believe sleep is the most important part of health. Sleep is essential to your health. You should get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day. You should dim the lights and lie down 10 to 15 minutes before you want to sleep. Try not to use your phone before bed. Instead, read a book.
Perfect, thank you, Christy. So what about this sentence structure and the punctuation? Is it all good or should we improve something?
It should improve something. So the first two sleeps, you should add a ing, so sleeping.
Yeah, I believe sleep or sleeping, both are fine, is the most important part of health. Anything else? So this part, the second sentence, sleep is essential. So this is repeating, this is repetitive. We don't need this because we said it in the first sentence. Sleep is the most important part of health. Sleep is essential, same meaning. So we don't need this sentence. But what about this sentence? How is the punctuation here? What do you all think? Is the punctuation good?
Kind of.
What about this comma here? Is that used correctly?
No,
No, what should we use?
period.
Yeah, good. Yes, a period is better because it's a new sentence. Dim the lights. And lie down. Yeah, and what about the last one? This dash. Is it used correctly? Is this dash used correctly?
No,
No. What should we use instead? What should we use instead of this dash? We don't need a dash. You can just use a period, actually. Instead, read a book. That is okay. All right, well, thank you, Chrissy, and for everyone for helping me on this one. So let's stop here. Let's go to the next part of the presentation. Okay. All right. So today we're going to talk about your introduction, the very first part of the paper. So we're going to talk about robot helpers. So these are robots at home that can help you. So the introduction is a very important part of the paper. You want to first grab the reader's attention. Grab the reader's attention. So you want to make them interested. You can do this by stating an interesting fact or statistic. For example, according to a recent poll, 76% of people expressed interest in having a robot helper. That sounds pretty interesting. I want to read more. Another idea, another strategy is you can highlight a misconception. Misconception. So a misconception is a belief that many people have, but it's incorrect. Incorrect. For example, contrary to popular belief, robots are not smarter than humans. A human being with an IQ of 200 can outperform a robot on any cognitive task, as tested by Stanford in their experiment, Human Machines and the Brain. So this is a good strategy because you are showing what the real truth is, what the real facts are, not what people think is the truth. So a misconception is an incorrect belief. Lastly, you can ask a rhetorical question. A rhetorical question is a question that you don't need to answer. This is a question that the speaker uses for their own benefit. So for example, robot helpers can do your laundry, take out the trash, and vacuum every inch of your floor. Why wouldn't you want one? So why wouldn't you want one? We don't need to answer this question. It is just to create a more dramatic effect for the sentence. So you don't need to answer this question. So this is another good strategy to use in your introduction. Any questions here about how to grab the reader's attention? No? Okay. Let's look at the next one. So you also can include background information. So you want to make it clear what you are talking about. We are talking about robot helpers. You want to include background information. For example, we have a little story here. Since the early 90s, there has been a measurable fascination with robots. Dr. Bob of Stanford suggests that it all starts with the concept of time. Time, he says, has created such words and phrases as inconvenient and in a hurry. As a result, we are always aware of usually having too little time. And because we have too little time, we categorize what we can and cannot do with that time. So this is an important part of the introduction because it gives them information about the studies and about the research and about the opinions about your topic. So I recommend including some background information. Maybe you do a little research, maybe you know something interesting about your topic, and you can include it here. Any questions about this part, about background information? Okay, so lastly, the most important part is your thesis statement. So this is one sentence, and this sentence captures what you are talking about. What will you argue? What will you write about? And how will you support it? For example, here is my thesis statement. Having robot helpers will increase both life satisfaction and quality of life by freeing up our schedules, providing unbiased, consistent support, and minimizing the element of danger. So as you can see here, I have three main points. Freeing up our schedules, point number one. providing unbiased, consistent support. Point number 2. And point number 3, minimizing the element of danger. So in your thesis statement, you want to make sure you include 3 points that you are going to argue in your paper. And you want to be very clear about what they are. Okay? Okay. So let's go on to the next part. So let's read these examples, and I want you to tell me which example is better. Okay, so let's see. Evan, can you read the example A, introduction A?
In this paper, robot helpers will be my focus. I will explain why they benefit society and what their future implications are. Although they might make us lazier, they allow us to use our energy on what we enjoy. They also push the boundaries of human innovation and encourage us to streamline our lives.
Wonderful, good reading. Okay, and let's see. Jeffrey, can you read introduction B?
Robot helpers are an innovative technology on the rise in countries like Japan and America. From 2005 to 2017, over $50 billion have been invested in the AI industry, 15% of which was specifically directed toward building robot helpers. Robot helpers will be a necessary part of our everyday life because of their ability to eliminate the risk of injury, provide a high level of home security, and be more efficient doing various tasks.
Wonderful, thank you, Jeffrey. So let's talk about these 2 introductions. Which is better? Which is a better introduction? Which has a better
B.
thesis?
B.
B, why?
Because I'm way longer.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Anything else? Any other ideas? Why is B better? What is not good about A?
Short.
Yeah, shorter, yeah. Anything else?
The first part of the sentence is that it explains about it, like what they're gonna say about the sentence, but then on the introduction B, they already told you about like what they already said.
Yeah, good, Chrissy. Yeah. So in A, it says, I will explain. So we don't need to say that. We can just start explaining. We don't need to include that part. Also, in introduction B, it has a clear thesis statement. So we know what 3 points that we are going to argue. So first point, eliminate the risk of injury. Second point, provide a high level of home security. And point 3, be more efficient. So it's very clear what we will argue. So let's look at some do's and don'ts about your introduction. So do keep the introduction to 1 paragraph. So your introduction should be about 3, 4, or 5 sentences, somewhat short, not too long. Also, do set the scene. So imagine your introduction is a place where we can get an idea. Not everything, not every detail, but an idea about what your paper will be about. And also, do confidently state your position. So we want to know why you will argue what you will argue. You should confidently tell us what you will argue and why. Lastly, do use your thesis statement as a signpost. So imagine a signpost. It has some information and you can refer to it. You can look back on it and you can say, oh, this is what I'm going to talk about. This is my direction. Okay, so these are things you should do. Lastly, don't go into too much detail. So we don't need to say everything just yet. Also, we don't need to make generalizations, and don't oversight. So oversight, you don't want to include too much research. Not yet, that is for the main part. And lastly, you don't want to give your personal opinion on this topic. So we want to focus on the opinion of other people, the opinion of research and studies, okay? All right, do you have any questions here? Okay. Okay, we're going to skip the practice. We're going to look at a topic sentence. So remember, I mentioned a topic sentence earlier. A topic sentence is a sentence that captures what the paragraph is about. So for example, one of the major advantages of having robot helpers is that housework can be done 24/7, maximizing efficiency. The topic sentence, the first sentence of your paragraph, and it will tell you what the paragraph is about. So you also want to identify your main point and your supporting ideas. And you want to include transitions. Transitions, so you can make each section more logical and you can make it smoother when you're writing it. Okay. Okay, so this is an example of an outline. So an outline is a skeleton of your paper. So first we have the thesis statement. We talked about this. We have your first paragraph, your second paragraph, and your third paragraph. So for each paragraph, please have a main point, and you want to have some supporting ideas. So for example, paragraph 1, main point, robot helpers reduce stress levels. Some supporting ideas. They can do chores for you. They can pick out your clothes. So try to think of some examples of what will support your main point. So we are going to practice this, okay? So 3 paragraphs. For each paragraph, 1 main point, then some supporting ideas. Okay? Also, a little tip for you. When you are brainstorming, when you're thinking about your process, try to write down every argument, every point, every idea. Then you can narrow your choices down and choose 3. But in the beginning, put down every point, maybe 10 or 20 ideas, and then choose 3, which have the most evidence and which are the most interesting, which are the most compelling, which can I argue the best. Okay, so I recommend this approach when you are choosing your topics. Okay, so let me quickly show you the assignment today. You have a little bit of homework, which I'm sure you will love doing. So, assignment, please choose a topic to write about. I wrote about robot helpers. You can write about monkeys as pets. You can write about why the Olympics are bad. You can write about your favorite fictional character. You can write about Android is better than Apple, for example. Okay. Also, I want you to write an introduction. So just use what you know, or you can do a little research. Don't do too much, but try to write an introduction using the points we discussed. Also, please include 3, 4, or 5 thesis statements. So the same idea, but we want to change the language and the wording. Okay, so we want to find the best thesis statement. So try to write 3 kinds or 3 versions of your thesis statement, and then you will choose the best. Also, here's an outline with 3 main ideas. So you choose your topic, for example, robot helpers. You make an outline with 3 main ideas. They reduce stress, they eliminate danger, they are very efficient. So these are my 3 main ideas, and you want to make a topic sentence for each one, okay? And if you have time, if you want to, you can include some supporting ideas, some evidence. So remember, I will show you this again. Here. So I had my idea, robot helpers, my thesis statement, my main point for each paragraph, and some ideas, okay? So please try to make it like this, okay?